One of the people that I've had to rely on since Christopher Hitchens is dead, and has been for 10, 15 years now. One of the British people, intellectuals that I've had to rely on since his death, since Christopher Hitchens' death, is a guy named, I believe it's called John Gray. And recently he gave a talk or had a discussion with the Institute of Art and Ideas. And he is bringing up a point which is frightening, but it's really true. And that is that if we do not create a third party that takes over from the Democrats and Republicans the national election, and first of all, next year in 2026, and then goes on after taking a considerable amount of seats away from both the Democrats and the Republicans. And then goes on to have a national ticket for the presidency of the United States. If we don't do that, what's going to happen is we're going to get somebody like J.D. Vance, or we're going to get someone even worse. I can't imagine who would be worse right now. And let me back up and just say, in the midterms, if the Democrats do beat the Trump people soundly, which they most likely will, it's pretty obvious that the so-called right is split between a bunch of idiots who don't bother to read anything but simply express the tribal opinion, and those are of a mind to oppose Israel and the corruption that the Israeli lobby and the Israeli influence over the United States has brought us, and the final realization that this whole mess with Israel has done us a great deal of harm for the last 30 years, since they prevented George Bush Sr. from winning the election back then, and gave the example to everybody that if you oppose Israel and oppose the Israeli lobby and the Zionist lobbies in the United States, you will lose your position in politics. So, but what's going to happen now if the Democrats now come back over and win again, which is most likely right now because we don't have a third party, Mr. Trump and his gang of fanatics will probably most likely declare it once again a fraud. Because if the Democrats do get into power, they're going to hack the political impeachment thing. They're going to move on with all of the criminality and the trials and the other trumped up stuff that they did before. And it's going to look to a lot of people in the United States like Democrats are doing the same old shit in a brand new bag, which is exactly what they're going to do. And of course, this is going to lead Trump to declare himself the victim of all of this, et cetera, because he can label it all a Democratic hoax. So our politics are going to get far more violent. They're going to get far more insidious and far more smash mouth, as Mearsheimer likes to call it. And that'll all come about because it will be the Democrats who have no right to try anybody for corruption, no right to point the finger at anybody for the corrosion of the system that they haven't been directly involved in. You know, Nancy Pelosi and her stock market investment, and the AOC and her sellout, and Hillary with her deplorables, and all of the other corruption within the Democratic Party with the sellout to the Chicago machine with Obama, and not putting any of the bankers in jail. And all of the rest of it will be back in the market, and they will be in power again. And so it'll be a constant battle between the what I call the extreme right establishment and the extreme left establishment. And it's going to be real bad for the United States, and it's going to be really bad for the world. Now, the only solution to all of this is a new political party that takes the mild concerns of both the right and the left, the justifiable political concerns of taking care of our own people, taking care of America first, and these simple economic beliefs about taking care of working American people and doing the best for them, which neither one of these parties is interested in at all. But I tell you here again, I'm going to say, if the Democrats win, they will go after Trump with both hands, and they will probably try to impeach him again. And this will lead him, whether he needs to be led or not, to declare them a hoax, them a political bunch of frauds, and it will really, really undermine the constitutional nature of our government, the idea of law and order, the idea of the rule of law. It's already been extremely eroded by, once again, the things I will point out that we've done just recently around Contra, 9/11, the banking crisis, the COVID crisis, all of these things. And there are many, many more. And I don't have a list in front of me because I don't like to talk that way. I like to talk extemporaneously, impromptu, and look it up if you don't know what those mean. I like to talk off the cuff. I think it lends more authenticity to what I'm saying. I often admire Nick Fuentes for doing that because he does it quite well. I don't have a lot of respect for a lot of his more base beliefs, but I do like his mind, etc. And I'm not going to go into the Fuentes stuff again, but Mr. John Gray of the British Empire, what's left of it, is warning, and I think his observation is correct, that if Donald Trump does not win the House back again, and maybe even the Senate, if he loses the House itself, I think they will vote impeachment again. And this is going to create far more damage, as it did last time, than it will do good, because you're going to have people who really, frankly, are not in the the condition or the moral standard to question anybody's corruption, to question anybody's honesty in government, because it's going to be the Democratic Party. It'll be the ones that destroyed the ability of Bernie Sanders to win when he was clearly going to win in 2000, and was probably going to win in 2020, and he was probably going to win in 2016 as well. That didn't happen, and we know why. It was because the Democratic Party has a very undemocratic party. It is a very poorly run, power-hungry, bully party that doesn't have any democratic functions within in the way that it works. I'm not going to go into that in detail right now. If you want an analysis, there's plenty of it out there talking about both all of the primaries, and see what the crooks in the Democratic Party have done to those in their party that were, let's just call them populists right now, because populism, as John Gray said, was really interesting to me. As he said, populism is the name that liberals give to people who expected them, the liberals, to do a bunch of stuff, and they never will, and they never did. So they dismiss those people. They label them as populist, meaning they're dumb, they're racist, they're uneducated, they're blue collar, and we don't really want anything to do with them because they're extremists. So that's what we have now. Is we have uh, uh, both parties laboring those of us in the middle who are truly populist in terms of what we expect from our government, and that is take care of ourselves, take care of our country first, insure our country without having to use insurance companies which have become investment opportunities, basically gambling houses, not the assumption of risk, which is what insurance is supposed to be. It's to spread the risk out among everybody. They weren't intended to be profiting corporations that could buy huge amounts of real estate and give their executives tens of millions of dollars of bonuses if they deny claims and save them money on the front end. Yes, they do need to accumulate enough property to secure themselves against great loss in case of a catastrophe. But you know what always happens there is that they get their money from the federal government, which they do with hurricanes, etc. So really what the insurance industry has become now is simply another profit margin for corporate America, for unregulated corporate America. They no longer function as a risk-spreading ability, and that was the original risk-spreading mechanism in both in business and in life, which is what they were originally intended to be. We've turned them into places where we'll figure out a way. Their main profit will come from denying claims, rather than from the fact that they shouldn't be profitable at all. It should kind of be a break-even system, because that's what spreading risk is all about. Anyway, and that's what we have now. We have perverted our entire insurance industry into something that is not at all what it doesn't benefit by the function of maximizing income for its executives and its stockholders. The whole idea of insurance is to spread the risk. And you know what that means. You think about what insurance should be and what it's turned into in the United States. And it's destroying our ability to medically take care of our own people. And that's probably the greatest insurance fraud out there right now, is the insurance industry itself. Anyway, back to John, John Gray. I haven't finished the discussion with him yet, but I had to stop it in order to plug my ideas back into this idea about the desperate requirement that we have to get a new political party going and on its feet for next year. If Trump loses, Lord help us, from both sides. Yeah, that's my neck crunching away because I'm. You don't need to know. Anyway, thanks for listening. If you're listening, please give me a like. Send this to one of your friends. I'm not making any headway. I don't have a lot of viewers, and I think I'm pretty good. I listen to a lot of other people who waste a lot of time, but I also listen to a lot of people that I learn from, and then I reach my own conclusions. I'm not a member of either tribe. I won't be. I'm a free thinker, and I think I hope that you will value that and regard that as important to you when you're looking for information regarding what in the hell is happening to our beloved country, and as a result, what is going to happen to the rest of the world that needs to line up behind us after we take the first dip of water out of the trough. they've got to wait for us. And hopefully we do that in a graceful and intelligent and respectable, honorable, and American way. Thanks for listening. Give me a like. Send me to some of your friends. I appreciate it. Bye.